Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore. Fantastic Beasts 3 was released last Friday, I think. And I'm here to review it. Let's try to muster through this. So, I don't really like the Fantastic Beasts movies. I never have. The original's okay. I don't know how many times I've seen it in the store. I've thought about buying it on Blu-ray and just have discarded it, passed through it. It's not a bad movie. I'm not gonna like sit here and say, oh, I hate the first Fantastic Beasts movie. It's fine. It's entertaining enough. I think Jake Kowalski is a really funny character that I could watch over and over again. He's fantastic. Newt Scamander is fine. I don't know. Just the entire movie was fine. Like it was okay. Um, Easily the worst Harry Potter movie up to that point, or Harry Potter adjacent, whatever you want to call it, Wizarding World movie. That was the worst one so far. And I was gonna leave it at that. I was gonna, hey, if that's the worst one, God damn it, Harry Potter, Wizarding World, you are all right. You guys have probably the most consistently great movie franchise, because I love the Harry Potter movies. Some of them are weaker than others, obviously, especially some of the earlier ones aren't the best thing out there, but they're still really good. Like they're still entertaining. They're still like magical. They're still, no pun intended there. They're still really like awe inspiring and whimsical. And I don't know. I really do enjoy the Harry Potter movies a lot. I watch them every Christmas or every winter break. I usually end up watching them. And yeah, I really do like the Harry Potter movies a lot. So, but the Fantastic Beasts movie after Crimes of Grindelwald, that movie, I had little to no interest going into it, and I walked out. I did not finish that movie. I hate that movie with a burning passion. It is very bad. It's borderline unwatchable, and yeah, I could not get myself to care about this movie. Secrets of Dumbledore, it's the third movie in the trilogy, kind of concluding the Grindelwald storyline here. And I just did not care. I could not get myself to care. Me and Cam saw this last night on a whim. It's like, we have nothing to do. I have a Cinemark gift card. Let's go see Fantastic Beasts. Why not? I need to review something. And yeah, I reviewed this. I'm talking about this now, and I'm stalling because this is just not a good movie. It's not. Fantastic Beasts, Secrets of Dumbledore is not a good movie. In my head, the way that people look at Pirates of the Caribbean and kind of see these bloated, fluffy franchise like schlock fests, that's how I see the Fantastic Beasts movies. Yeah, I'm extremely sick of them, and I could not get myself to care whatsoever. It's so bland, and it's so much nothing. It's so much just directionless, meaningless bullshit that's in this movie. There's a lot of this movie. This movie's almost 2.5 hours long. There's a lot to it, but walking out of it, I could not tell you a single scene that I just watched. It went in figuratively in one ear, right out the other. You know what I mean? We're just went right out of my head right after I watched it. And looking back on it, I guess that's not fair. There is one scene that I can vividly remember that I thought was okay. It's like at the prison scene with the crabs. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. That was entertaining enough. I like that more kind of horror, like creature thing that they had going on there. I like when they bring that into the Harry Potter world. Prisoner of Azkaban is one of my favorite movies of all time, and that's because that movie was a lot darker and it had a lot more horror elements to it. But yeah, almost everyone involved with this movie for sure phoned it in. All of the performances felt phoned in. The writing felt half-assed and rushed. The absolute nothingness that was David Yates' direction really just put an exclamation point on this movie is boring. Everybody phoned it in. Everybody visibly did not care. The only person who cared, and I can never remember his name, the guy who plays Jake Kowalski, he gave a shit. He gave a decent performance. He wasn't fantastic. I don't think he's like did a tour de force in acting or anything, but he did his job well. I thought he was funny, and I thought he was entertaining, and I felt that way throughout all of these movies, where he is the best bright spot in these boring movies. He's the only one. He's the one thing that you can kind of hold on to and be like, yeah, he was decent. He was okay. He kind of made it watchable. I liked whenever he was on screen, and that's mostly how this movie was too. Um, and I don't give a shit about Newt Scamander as a character. I don't. He brings no screen presence. He has no charisma. He is just kind of a vessel for the audience, but not in a good way. Not in a way that Harry Potter was. He's just a very flat and uninteresting character. And the side characters they put around aren't interesting either. Mans Mikkelsen, he just did. I clearly did not give two shits about this movie. He phoned it in hard for this thing. So did Ezra Miller. They were in this movie. Since recent news has come out, I'm really not a big fan of them. Ezra Miller kind of has fallen out of the public figure, and I think for a good reason, somewhat. If the things that have come out are true, I think they're confirmed true. And yeah, they just seem like kind of a shitty person in real life. But they also gave a terrible performance in this movie. They were nothing. They were just, I don't know. It's like taking the worst elements of Kylo Ren and making that a character. And he was terrible in this movie. He was very bad. He was extremely just a ball of nothingness in this movie. And the same wonder and sense of fantasticalism that is present throughout the rest of the Harry Potter franchise is just gone in these movies. I think that's my biggest issue with them, is the lack of wonder and the lack of adventure and the lack of good storytelling. Because say what you will about the Harry Potter movies, they told a specific story very, very well. They had, I think it was the same screenwriter except for one of the movies, that had a consistent vision, that had a consistent arc, that had a consistent narrative voice, and that was very present throughout the entire franchise, and it made the franchise feel more coherent. With these movies, I think it's the same guy writing them, but it has no sense of like personality. It has no distinct qualities. There's nothing here that I can be like, oh yeah, that's distinctly Fantastic Beasts. It's just another action adventure movie. That's all these things are, and they're not good ones either. They're just fluffy nothingness. These movies are so bland and so mind-numbingly irritating that it's just, I have almost nothing to say. These are the kinds of movies that make me hate reviewing movies, because they're the only kinds of movies that I don't like watching. Bad movies, mediocre movies, good movies, great movies, I can watch all of them, and I still have a fun time, because I'm watching a movie. I can despise the movie I'm watching, but still love the experience. With movies like these, it makes me hate watching movies, because I get nothing out of it. Absolutely nothing. There is just nothing to latch onto. There's nothing to be like, hey, there was that one thing, or oh, that was actually funny how bad that was, or this is interestingly bad, or this, I don't know, this. It just gives me nothing to talk about. I've been talking in circles pretty much this entire time. Again, like, the only real things I can say is there was absolutely no tension. There was no conflict really present whatsoever. The final conclusion was one of the lamest I've ever seen in a movie. The performances are really phoned in, and it's just a directionless mess. This movie just falls completely flat on its face from the get-go, really. I'm going to give Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore a D+. Don't see this movie. Don't support these movies. If you're a fan, I get it. I don't get it, but, like, I get it because of Pirates of the Caribbean. I understand liking a franchise and sticking with it and wanting to see the characters grow and stuff like that, but for me, that's just not it with Fantastic Beasts, and I really don't like these movies, and this is a really bad one. So yeah, I'm re-releasing this and then doing a review of 3 Netflix movies that I watched recently, and just don't have a lot to say about, so I'm just going to do like 3 quick ones. And yeah, I was seeing The Northman on Saturday. I can't wait for that. And other than that, I don't really have anything else to say, so I'll see you guys later.